This week, the Clintons.
Alec, come forward.
Hope everyone had a great Resurrection Day. I sure did, because I'm alive, just like everyone the subway shooters shot. And Greg Abbott stands up to the Biden administration from a wheelchair. CNN Plus proves if they gifted each border crosser a membership, they would triple their audience in the first day. And Elon Musk becomes majority shareholder of Twitter. This just in. Elon Musk declines a board seat. This just in. Elon Musk offers to buy out the blue-haired Twitter people straight cash. Gangster. 4 topics this week in a special elongated episode of The Laughing Libertarian. And I'm your host, Alan McFarland. But before we dive in, please share on your favorite social media, like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Now, just a few months ago, we saw how effective an idiot in an SUV could be when trying to kill innocent people. Flash forward to this week, we're finding out just how ineffective a man the size of a small SUV was at doing the same. In a series of happenstances that would blow the minds of the writers of the Final Destination series, alleged subway shooter Frank James took a break from spewing racism for a little New York vacay. Damn. And like most of us traveling to a liberal 1984-esque hellhole, he went armed. This wasn't the run-of-the-mill vacation with lions and tigers and bears on my. It was more gas masks and smoke bombs and shell casings, but why? Now, we could dive into his mental health and lengthy criminal history, but the real question is, why was it so hard to catch his obese geriatric ass? Maybe because New York is a gun-free utopia, right? What about catching him after the fact? It's new freaking York. There's cameras everywhere, right? Not that day. At least not on that subway train. The plot, much like the man, thickens. And let's be honest with ourselves. In the city that never sleeps, a rotund man in his 60s can shoot up a subway train, killing nothing but his dignity, drop the gun, drop his credit card, drop the damn key to the U-Haul he rented in his name, and still disappear. I mean, come the fuck on. He's not fast, he's not agile, and he's going to be asking for a senior discount everywhere he goes.
What happened to the customer's always right?
And it took him turning himself in to get him off the streets. That must have been a minor detail omitted from the report given to Mayor Eric Adams, because I think he pulled a swagger muscle patting himself on the back, when it seems like they actually have some similar racist views against those that lack melanin.
I kicked those crackers' ass, man.
You know, in any other instance, we could just write this off as yet another nut job that created yet another unfortunate incident in a major U.S. city. But the root of the problem is this empowerment of perception being reality. People no longer have opinions. They have their very own tailored personal truths. And this isn't more evident than when we look at the actions of Frank James. He's buried in the opinion that black people are facing genocide at the hands of white people. And that's strange how actual statistics show that in 88% of violent interracial interactions, the aggressor is black. But maybe that's rooted in another belief of his, that somehow black people are still seen as slaves. Funny when society is being held at social gunpoint, even to the extent that less black people are going to jail for criminal offenses due to a call for equity in the prison system. Could you imagine a warden stopping anyone and saying, "Sorry, we're at max capacity of people who look like you"? It's just ridiculous. Don't worry though. He took his personal truths to a now deleted YouTube channel. You know, the platform that won't allow us to say negative things about the vaccine or positive things about Russia. And he was calling for Black Jesus to wipe the earth of whitey. I mean, was there anything else YouTube could have been designed for?
Spaghetti ketchup!
You know, as far as I'm concerned, you can talk all the kill whitey you want, but is it too much to ask for better lighting and engineered sound while you tell me that Black Jesus hates me because I deserve to die due to my ancestors being too far from the equator? Speaking of people who would need to shoot people to get noticed, CNN has doubled down on putting out trash content, but now they want $6 additional each month for it. Welcome to CNN Plus. But what the hell about it is Plus exactly? The audacity of these morons. Their cable content isn't getting views, so you'd think they'd provide any additional content for free, so maybe they could bolster their primary channel. But all they did was take a massive amount of bullshit viewers have already proven they don't want and split it into two equally irrelevant piles. How did stealing a certain Fox News anchor work out for you guys? You know what does get viewership though? Televising Brian Stelter getting owned by college students.
You've all spoken extensively about Fox News being a purveyor of disinformation, but CNN is right up there with them. They pushed the Russian collusion hoax. They pushed the Jussie Smollett hoax. They smeared Justice Kavanaugh as a rapist, and they also smeared Nick Sandmann as a white supremacist. And yes, they dismissed the Hunter Biden laptop affair as pure Russian disinformation. All the mistakes of the mainstream media, and CNN in particular, seem to magically all go in one direction. Are we expected to believe that this is all just some sort of random coincidence, or is there something else behind it?
I think you're describing a different channel than the one that I watch. But I understand that that is a popular right-wing narrative about CNN.
And with less than 10,000 daily views, you got to do something. I mean, to be honest, though, the numbers have never been in the favor of the modern era CNN. But they never report them correctly anyway, so that doesn't really matter. They just check out for lunch when confronted about them even. Likewise, they are forced to fire employees, every few months to avoid transferring those numbers from their bank account to the accounts of guardians of molested children or sexually harassed women. But hey, Brian Stelter made it perfectly clear that responsible journalism is not leaving anyone or anything behind to be found by someone else, especially a pastrami on rye.
It's too bad. It's time for lunch.
This just in. CNN Plus closes their doors after only about a month, proving that their unemployment line is actually longer than their viewership line these days. Speaking of leaving people behind, Biden must have forgotten the linchpin in the Democrats' future strategy: Mexicans. You see, the Democrats have a problem. Modern liberals are either too confused to know what the hell they are, or too selfish to procreate. So their options to keep the machine moving forward are slim. They're forced to indoctrinate the youth, hoping to steal a conservative, or they have to convince immigrants that they will pave the path to prosperity for them. And considering old Joe hasn't made it to the border yet, we have to assume he either doesn't care or he wants a reason to claim plausible deniability. Now, that being said, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, being the responsible and thoughtful figurehead he is, wants to help old Joe free up some time. And due to inflation, it really would cost the government too many Biden bucks to continue distributing immigrants around the country. It's understandable. Trying to keep your son out of trouble is a full-time job, at least when you're the father of his progeny. Like I said, Governor Abbott must be feeling sympathetic. So he is having immigrants vetted and then sending them to visit the Capitol firsthand via bus.
Everybody on? Good.
Great, grand, wonderful. No yelling on the bus.
And now we have Florida Governor Ron Desantis joining this badassery by threatening to send immigrants to Joe's home state of Delaware. Hey, travel's hard on an old fella. So these altruistic gentlemen are just sending the border and the Democrats' potential crop of voters directly to the former vice president, proving that even when the country's highest office can't figure something out, Greg Abbott is always willing to spin his wheels. Elon Musk's move sent liberal media in a tailspin. Elon Musk, a libertarian of sorts, believes in free speech almost as much as capitalism. When he became the majority shareholder of Twitter, the culmination of those core values had San Francisco flooded with the tears of Twitter staff. While that didn't last long, Twitter offered the richest person in human history a seat on the board, an obvious attempt to keep him from using his immense wealth to take over the company entirely. A board seat would allow him a maximum of 14.9% ownership, one of 12 votes, and a requirement to not criticize the company, putting the douche in fiduciary responsibility. You see, this has been the game for years now. Conservatives get silenced and we're told if we don't like it, create platforms headed by conservatives. When that was done, they were shut down by either liberal hosting services or other hosting services that faced being smeared socially, even if their balance sheets would later prove they alienated the people who actually pay their bills. Well, okay, except for Amazon. So now that Elon can flat out buy Twitter, we're forced to revisit this. And Twitter is bracing for such a takeover by essentially dicing up their shares to make it difficult for them to acquire the majority.
Lift up the bowl, boy. That one.
That one. Hey, look over there. What? Oh, nothing.
You see, these people don't want free speech. They want authoritarianism built in their image, ambiguous gender and all. That's how a guy can show up, essentially double the value of the company, offer to buy it at the inflated rate, and they're still fighting tooth and nail to maintain their echo chamber. All because he is willing to give everyone an uncensored voice, and people may have to own their emotions and just continue scrolling when they disagree. But oh my, what if Trump gets his account reinstated? Is he going to organize events that cause more damage and loss of life than, I don't know, BLM or Putin or the leader of the damn Taliban? But the best comes from the pinnacles of truth, the Washington Post and Business Insider, speaking like they have graduated from finger painting to the written word. 9 years ago, billionaire Jeff Bezos was celebrated by Business Insider for buying the Washington Post because he was going to produce a fascinating cultural transition in America. But today, Elon's attempt represents a chilling new threat. Now they're afraid. It's not their billionaire. The Washington Post, not currently owned by Jeff Bezos, had this to say: Musk's appointment to Twitter's board shows that we need regulation of social media platforms to prevent rich people from controlling our channels of communication. Oh shit. The government needs to overstep and protect your safe space today. Interesting. This comes from an actual recognized news outlet, a news outlet that is worried about social media spreading news they don't particularly agree with, maybe even news they haven't had a chance to report on. This is a news outlet, like so many, that is yet to apologize for their own false reporting. Because we live in a world where reporting first gets the clicks and gets the money, and the facts will sort themselves out in silence after someone's life or livelihood has been stripped. Hey, you know what? If you play nice, Elon can make room in Twitter's budget to send you the clown makeup kits you've earned. This golden tweet from Max Boot, with his adorable Ukrainian flag virtue signal: for democracy to survive, we need more content moderation, not less. Or Warren over here, he's not going to encourage free speech. He's just going to allow people to say whatever they want, which is not at all the same thing. I mean, come on, guys. The jokes write themselves. And most of them were written by the parents of these morons. But for as dumb as these people are, Elon respects their right to be dumb in a public space. And that sits well with us conservative-minded folks. And with Facebook hiding us and not allowing us to advertise, I'd be willing to see Musk's Twitter put them on notice. Hell, I mean, he's set to make a lot of money if he just sells the shares he currently owns. But it doesn't really matter what he does. The door on Twitter's birdcage has been cracked open, and that's a bye-bye birdie we can all agree on.
For the last time, dear friends, that's it for today. Have a great week. And I hope you'll keep watching Fox News Sunday.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.